YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back with week one score predictions for every single game. We'll do this every single week. We also have our straight up picks with the other members of the Goat House on the channel already. We will do that every single week as well. We have updated power rankings. We'll continue to do that throughout the year. All kinds of content here at the Goat House. In these score predictions videos, we also take a look at the line of the games and see if there's any worth putting money on. Week one, very random, very mysterious is like how I like to put it. Anything can happen, so be very careful week one here. But please subscribe. Trying to reach 60K subscriber goal early in the NFL season. Again, we have you covered fully, so you're going to want to subscribe, turn notifications on. Follow that Twitter. Constant NFL talk there, keeping you up to date, giving you my thoughts, and live tweeting during NFL games. The must follow. Follow that Instagram. We have a podcast, and our Patreon has bonus content. That actually includes score predictions from some of the other guys. They do straight up picks on the channel. They'll have their score predictions on the Patreon later in each week there. So by the time you're listening to that, those score predictions on the Patreon might not be up yet, but they will be coming. So be much appreciated if you can check any of that out. Link in the description for everything, Twitter, Patreon, any of it. Let's go on to these score predictions. Thursday night football is the Texans at the Chiefs. The Chiefs are actually favored by 9 points. They are -9 in this game. You see the Texans +9 at Kansas City. I actually thought about taking the Texans in this game. I actually did. I did pick the Chiefs. It's pretty tough. First game of the year, defending Super Bowl champions. It's going to be tough, and they actually have fans, some fans there. Be pretty tough for them to take the Chiefs down, really, but it's going to be close, I think. I like this Texans team this year. I think people really have kind of calmed down on the Texans hype or don't really believe in it too much, mainly because they traded DeAndre Hopkins. But then they're focusing on one move a little too much. Watson's great. He's going to continue to get better. He's going to continue to climb towards the top of the quarterback rankings in the NFL. And offensive line got much better, I think, because another year with Laramie Tunsil, another year with Titus Howard, another year with Sharping. Young guys, the unit, it feels like a unit now. It really hasn't until right now. So these guys, as a unit, get better. They had David Johnson. You've probably ripped David Johnson. All of us have in the recent past, but he'll be solid in this system. The defense, J.J. Watt's healthy right now. This team will be, let me summarize it. Texans will be better than most of you think out there, and they'll compete in this game. It'll be a shootout, could even reach higher than this. The reason I almost picked the Texans is because I think they can be actually better than last year, mainly because I think the offensive line will improve, which means Deshaun Watson will improve. But looking at Brashard Breeland, he's out of this game, suspended for a few games this year for the Chiefs. Cornerback, little weak there for Kansas City. Garyon Conley is out for the Texans, but they have pretty good rotation, pretty good depth at corner. Nothing outstanding, but Bradley Roby, Lonnie Johnson, they'll be able to handle it. Lonnie Johnson was a little rough last time against Kansas City, but you caught him kind of covering Travis Kelce. I think he'll be outside a little more in this game. But I think Watson could have a day on the outside, but I also think Mahomes can have a day there. So I think a tight game, a 3-point game. The Texans are getting a lot of points there, +9. But again, I tend to stay away from the week one games because it's always every single year, it's random, and you can't really have any takeaways. It tells us nothing about the future of that season. But I got the Chiefs winning by 3. And, I don't think there's really a specific game plan for the Chiefs. They're going to spread the ball out. Excited to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire there, this year. But they're going to spread the ball out. So there's really no specific guy I'm saying this guy's for sure going off. I think both these quarterbacks will go off. And getting, pressure will obviously be a key. J.J. Watt, Merciless versus Frank Clark, Chris Jones, those guys over there. So, high-scoring game. I got the Chiefs by 3. Moving on to the next game, I got Seattle taking care of business here, 27-23. They're -1.5, so I have them beating that by a little bit. The Falcons seem to start off sloppy in years sometimes. They'll be a pretty good offense, but I think the key here is for them to step on the field and start strong the first time they have the ball. We've seen that kind of, really good offense, but last year, early in games, that's where they'll have their turnover. They didn't turn the ball over a ton, but that's kind of where they'll turn the ball over, that early in the season, first or second series, or they'll just go 3 and out right away, and that's not the Falcons offense we know that they can be. So they need to start off strong here, but I think Seattle just gets them here. They're going to run their typical game plan. They're going to run Chris Carson. He's coming back from an injury, so maybe not too much. Maybe he'll catch a committee of running backs early, but they're going to pound the football. Second half is where they'll kind of unleash Russell Wilson here. That's normally what they do against the Falcons defense. They could throw on them early if they wanted to. Excited to see Jamal Adams' first game with Seattle Seahawks. And excited to see what kind of pass rush the Falcons put out there. You know, Dante Fowler, big-time year last year. Will they roll with him and Takk McKinley? They're going to use a little bit of a rotation there. But the good news is, you know, the Falcons aren't as bad as you think on defense because they're healthy right now. Some of those big-time guys, Keanu Neal, they're healthy right now. So they can make some noise. But, week one, I don't expect a ton of points. The points that we're kind of used to the Falcons putting up. I think Seattle takes care of business here. In Atlanta, but yeah, it is in Atlanta, so that could make it a little tricky there. But 27-23, Seattle's what I got. The Jets and the Bills, you got a 7-point game here, 24-17. This is one where I think we're all picking the Bills. We're all pretty confident, but I can see it kind of being a trap game here, a little sneaky. Playing a division rival week one, no matter where it's at, could be a little tricky sometimes. But I got the Bills taking care of business. I love this defense. Really love this Bills defense. You know, defenses don't play really elite. They don't make themselves known on that year elite week one. Sometimes offenses do. So you can't expect the defense to go out there and just do it all. Elite performance. They could have a great performance, but you can't really expect it. Second year under Gase. Maybe the Jets are throwing something else that we haven't seen yet at the Bills. So it's a possibility. The key here is the Jets can't turn the ball over. Sam Darnold's got to take care of the ball, but I'm looking at the Bills here. The key is, you've seen early last year, they were a little sloppy on offense. Then it took them some time to get going. You can't have that again. You can't have that here. You got to keep going where you left off there with the Bills. So if you start off struggling in this game, the Jets will actually take advantage. If Josh Allen turned the ball over early, the same thing goes the other way, but the Jets will actually take advantage. I'm excited to watch the second-year guy like Quinn Williams. I think he'll really break out. I think people are kind of sleeping on him a little bit. Everyone was raving about him, including myself, pre-draft. Little quiet year last year, and people are kind of forgetting they shouldn't. So I'm excited to see that. I just don't know if the Jets can put up that enough points against this Bills defense, but the offense of the Bills is what's kind of questionable. You know, I'm not really questioning it down the stretch of the season, but right off the bat, let's see how Diggs clicks with this team right off the bat here. See how they use that running back duo there, Singletary, Zach Moss. See if it's split. I'm excited to learn these types of things here. But I got the Bills by 7. And it's just right around the line. They got a 6.5. So if they win by 7, they cover. But it's cutting it close there for sure. Next, the Bears and the Lions. The Bears are +3, so the Lions are favored in this game. And I have it right around there, too. I predict the score, and then I look at the line, plug it in the graphics here. And a lot of times it ends up being in the area there. So I think Vegas is doing a good job with their lines, obviously. But I got the Lions winning 21-17 here. I don't see a ton of scoring. You know, for the Lions, I like this offense, and I think they'll actually move the ball up until midfield, and that's where the Bears defense starts to kind of click, starts to get going. They'll have a very good red zone performance, I think, or their own territory, I should say. But the Lions could get going early there, take some shots downfield to Kenny Galladay. But yeah, I only have the Bears scoring 17. Not really in on Trubisky-led offense here. And the problem with the Bears is, I guess the lack of there's really nothing that the Lions are going to fear too much. They're not going to really fear the run game of the Bears. They're not going to really fear the pass game. So there's really no unique game plan they have to prepare for. They're just going to go out there and play. It's a bad time to play the Lions because they're fully healthy right now. So I have the Lions taking care of business here. 21-17. I really do like the Bears defense, though, so that's what kind of creates this to be somewhat of a defensive game. So, yeah, pretty close with the line as well there. So I'm curious to see what the Bears do at running back. They're trying to mix Cordero Patterson in there. The Lions they're able to throw the ball here. They'll probably target Jalen Johnson, the rookie corner. I'm not really too worried, though. I like him a lot. I think don't focus on one side for the Lions. I don't want them to do that. I think, Fuller's a pretty darn good corner, but I think if you start, cutting your strategy in half there, I think that could actually hurt you. But running back situations, both sides. Curious to see what they do. The Lions even added AP. They got 3 guys they can go with there. So curious to see how that works. But an NFC North battle there. Next, another NFC North battle. I got a squeaker. This is what I call a squeaker, a 1-point game here. I got the Packers taking care of business. Recent news that not only Danielle Hunter will miss this game, but he will actually be out for at least 3 weeks. That is a major blow for the Vikings. The good thing is they did bring in Yannick Ngakoue, so that it's not too bad of a blow. It's pretty bad, but it's not too bad. Imagine if they didn't have Ngakoue here. They are home, and I still think they have a pretty good team, both sides of the ball. So I think they hang in there with the Packers. I got the Packers taking care of business, and the Vikings were actually favored by 3. Let's see if that changes now. Danielle Hunter news just came out, so that'll probably change a little bit, but they still have Ngakoue in there. We'll see. So if you're thinking about putting money on this game and you're basing it off this, keep an eye on that line. It'll probably change. But the Packers, I think the Packers start off strong here. They have that Matt LaFleur, scripted offense. They'll probably have 14, I'd say around 14 points up on the board pretty early, I think, somewhat early, maybe by halftime. But the Vikings will very well coach defense. Mike Zimmer will have the adjustments, so they'll probably slow them down, but will it be enough? The Packers, I like the mixture of secondary with pass rush. That could throw off Kirk Cousins and the Vikings here, only limit them to 20. I think both teams, like I said, the Packers could come out, I think, throw pretty well early on. I trust Rodgers and the lack of preparing this offseason. Who you can, is there that many other guys you can trust more than Aaron Rodgers? So I think they'll come out throwing pretty well. That's where they'll get the 14 points on the board. They'll turn to running. I think they'll run the ball pretty well. It'll run the clock. I also think the Vikings will run the ball very well with Dalvin Cook. I think both teams at that point will kind of rely on their running backs, maybe a little bit too much, but it'll run the clock. That'll be in favor of the Packers, and they'll just squeak by here. Curious to see how the Vikings handle no Danielle Hunter. That's been a key piece to them, but it will be Ngakoue and Odenigbo. But I think it'll be, for the most part of this game, kind of be that running back battle. But what quarterback can make that extra play might be the deciding factor in this game. You got to go with Rodgers here in week 1. So I got the Packers taking care of business there. Next game, Dolphins, Patriots. I think closer than maybe some people think. The line's not too far off. Patriots favored by just under a touchdown. I got a 3-point game here. I think the Dolphins were actually starting to heat up as season went on, believe it or not. With Fitzpatrick, Devontae Parker was amazing with him. More explosive offense. And the defense, they were very thin on players. Players left, and that was Brian Flores' first year. Second year, what a great defensive mind who came from the Patriots. And he's added some veteran players, a veteran presence in there with guys like Kyle Van Noy coming from the Patriots. I love Kyle Van Noy. They're going to use him in different ways. Patriots kind of know how they're going to use him. But yeah, now they have Howard back along with the veteran. They had Byron Jones. They had some guys up front like Shaq Lawson. So adding veterans, this could be a sneaky team on both sides of the ball. Fitzpatrick, maybe still rolling. We've seen the magic happen early in the year, so they can get going. This is why I'm picking the Patriots, though. I think defensively for the Patriots, what beats that Fitzpatrick, Devontae Parker downfield offense is a good secondary. Fitzpatrick, he's kind of used to having a poor offensive line. He'll take some sacks, but then he'll be able to throw downfield. I think the weakness is a very good secondary. I think the Patriots have a really good secondary. So it's not going to be a giant weakness throughout this entire game, but I think that could be just enough. Look for Cam Newton, maybe James White even to be the feature guy. Maybe he won't be on the field play 1, but Cam Newton, James White, I think pretty big game from both of those, actually. A lot of small ball action. It could work the field, go really quick to kind of throw off this Dolphins defense here. So, but I think the Dolphins actually could start off pretty explosive in this game. They'll be able to kind of keep going where they left off, get some points up on the board. I think a lot of clock could kind of be chewed while how the Patriots are playing this game, but 27-24 is what I got. Patriots 3-point victory. Eagles and the Washington football team, 24-16. The Eagles are -6. I'm surprised it's that low. I think it could be a close that close. I thought I was kind of getting unique here, making it closer than most people think, but maybe not according to the Vegas line there. But this is actually an interesting game because it's in Washington, first off, which helps. But strength versus the major strength for Washington is the front seven. They're going to get ridiculous pressure this year. Ridiculous with that front seven. The rotation is ridiculous. And the Eagles' offensive line is a major question right now because of the health. It is beat up. And then Jason Peters, of course, is somewhat, you hate to say it, somewhat of an injury concern as he's in there. So, and then Carson Wentz under pressure. I mean, he makes some big-time plays under pressure. That's why he's a big-time player. But it could throw him off. It can throw him off kind of like it did at times last year where offensive line was great for the most part, but those random times were, probably due to guys being beat up coming off the field. We've seen that with some guys there. But that could be the difference, and that could be a reason why the Washington football team wins this game. But I don't know if they don't have enough offense. I think they can have a better offense than people expect. They can start getting going, as season goes on. But week one, I just don't know if it's enough here. I'm excited to see, Antonio Gibson, hoping he kind of starts. I'm not really paying too much attention to the unofficial depth chart. Those are usually kind of BS, but you never know. And it has McKissick listed as the first stringer there, but not sure if that happens. I just don't know if they have enough on offense. I'd look for the Eagles front to have a pretty good game as well. I talked about the Washington team's front versus, the worry of the Eagles offensive line. But what about the Eagles front? The front seven there, maybe mainly the defensive front. So I think they'll throw some things at Haskins, and that'll be enough to take care of business here. 24-16 Eagles win, and covering the spread there by a little bit. Next, I got a shootout in this game. Never know what's going to happen in week one. It's going to end up being 6-3. Probably not, but it's week one for you. Raiders 34, Panthers 28. I have a shootout here because I like these offenses a lot. I like both these offenses, especially early in the year here. And I don't really like these defenses. I like the Raiders a little more. Their defense could be solid this year, but week one, it could have its moments trying to figure out this is the main thing here. Trying to figure out what this Matt Rule / Joe Brady / Teddy Bridgewater, the new guys, what this offense is all about. Nobody really knows. What film do you watch to prepare for this? I don't know if there is one. Do you watch the Panthers from last year? Do you watch a little bit of LSU? You don't really know. You don't know. So that's why it's gonna be tough for the Raiders. But I do think the Raiders are the better team. I think they're more balanced here, and they're even though they're fresh and that can help them in this game. The Panthers, new team, you can't really game plan. And they have explosive guys. Christian McCaffrey, one of the more explosive guys in all of football. DJ Moore, they add Robbie Anderson. The list, it goes on. But a little bit of an adjustment period at the same time. So there'll be times where the offense looks great in here in week one. There'll be times where, that'll get fixed. We can see that'll get fixed later on. So those things will side towards the Raiders. I think they'll be able to keep on scoring there. Excited to see rookies. Excited to see Henry Ruggs out there, what kind of impact he can make right away. So I got the Raiders winning in this somewhat of a shootout here. They're -3. It's a tough one. It's in Carolina. Next, Colts, Jags, 27-20, and the Colts are -8, so it's 1 point off there. You got a 7-point victory for the Colts. The Colts could, maybe why this is, the Colts are the much better team, probably better than by 7 points here, but a little bit of an adjustment period here. Just brought in Phillip Rivers, and just brought in DeForest Buckner, just brought in Jonathan Taylor, some new faces that'll be key. I'm confident they will click during the year because they're good players or veteran players, high in knowledge, guys like Phillip Rivers. Maybe right away, there's moments where it'll look great, and there's moments where, that we'll fix that as the season goes on. So that will result in a little closer maybe, but still a 7-point victory here for the Colts. Very curious to see what they do with the running back situation. I would hope they start with Marlon Mack, use Jonathan Taylor kind of in the middle there, then kind of go back to Marlon Mack, rather than just kind of all over the place, in early in the game. Jonathan Taylor, does have that fumbling concern out of college, so I wouldn't put him, if they're trying to ice this game, put it away. They would have to go Marlon Mack there at the end, which I think they'll do. So looking forward to that. Excited to see Phillip Rivers on a different team. It's going to be weird. The Jags, let's see if Minshew can do it, see if he can pull it off. They won't have too much of a running game. They have the weapons at receiver, though. They'll play a lot of small ball in the passing game, quick passes, and then they're going to unleash you, try to surprise you deep. Colts, a little iffy on the secondary, so that's where the Jaguars might play surprise and get some points up on the board there. I just don't know if they have enough here. So this is one of those games I can see it being, this is my final, obviously, 27-20, but I can see it being like 13-7, and I can see it being like in the 30s, both teams in the 30s. So this is a weird one. Curious to see what happens here. I got the Colts are the better team. I got the Colts taking care of business in week one here. We got the Browns and the Ravens, and yes, I got a lot of scoring in this one. 37-27, Ravens over Browns. This could be a trap game for the Ravens. Seen it early, not really because of this, but if you look back early last year, the Browns handled the Ravens pretty well. Once they got the ball to that next level of the Ravens defense, the Ravens really struggled with their angles and tackling, kind of got outran. It was kind of surprising. But it may have something to do, they handled them the next time around though, but it may have something to do with the Browns running game. Stefanski gets brought in, is a perfect type of system for what they got there. They will use Chubb, they will use Kareem Hunt a ton in this game, and that'll get them some yards and some points. They will. Look out Kareem Hunt in the passing game, actually. That'll be a big factor in this game. The Ravens, great defense, well coached. You look at their actual defensive line, though, even though they struggled to stop the run against the Browns the first time around, their defensive front, their three-man defensive front, what led pretty much, well, along with the linebackers, was top tier, I should say, in run defense last year. And I still think they'll be good, but they made some adjustments up there to benefit the pass, but the pass game, get after the quarterback, but it kind of hurt maybe the run game a little bit. No Michael Pierce, guys like that. They got brought in guys that are more involved in getting after the quarterback up there, so it could shift things a little bit there. Could be the difference in this game, but I'm worried about the Browns defense, a defense that, the major thing I'm scared about is the linebacker unit, but when the ball gets to that next level, they actually struggle very much to tackle, and that's an issue against Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, in this team. So they'll score some points. A lot is on Myles Garrett here, getting after Lamar Jackson, not only getting after him, but bringing him down too. So Ravens taking care of business here by 10. And they're favored by 8, as you can see. This is another squeaker of a game, 1-point game here. This was a toss-up. Probably the toughest one for me to pick this week. The Chargers at the Bengals. The Chargers are favored by 3 points. I got a 1-point game here. And, yeah, back and forth on this one. Chargers, another one of those teams, going to play a bunch of small ball, quick passes there to Austin Eckler, and they'll probably unleash some to Keenan Allen. Curious to see who their running back 2 is. They might split those 2 other guys, but curious to see, short yardage, what they do up the middle. See if Tyrod Taylor uses his legs. Curious to see those things. They'll play a lot of small ball, and the Bengals are another one of those teams. They have a young defense that's still. It's got a bright future, but it's still improving. They struggled to tackle once the ball got to the next level last year. So another one of those teams. And that was a big reason they added Trey Waynes. Trey Waynes has been maybe the best, most consistent tackling corner in football. Or one of these, so that was a huge addition for them for that reason, but he's out though, so that's a tough blow. So that I think that will benefit the Chargers small ball, and they'll try to get the ball to the next level, and that's where they'll get that extra yards. It'll run the clock, so they won't get too many points here, and I don't expect too many big plays downfield to get up a ton of points here, and they could get figured out early on in this game, or somewhere in this game. So 24 points sound about right for me. And the Bengals, they could be pretty explosive. Joe Burrow with those weapons, Joe Mixon, and they could be. You don't really know what to expect from that Joe Burrow offense, so that could be a problem there. So they actually could put some points up. I do really like the Chargers defense though. Gus Bradley will make his adjustments and make sure this defense is doing it right out there. So it's a tough one. You go back and forth. Both teams could definitely move the ball at times. Do I trust them to move the ball constantly throughout the game? Not really. How do I trust the Chargers defense without Derwin Williams? It's kind of back and forth. It's not the best game of the week in terms of the teams, but it might actually be the best game of the week because I don't know who's going to win this one. It's a toss-up. I went with the Chargers here. I think just having a little more experience, and having the better defense here. I think the thing that stands out, if you look at the offense, it's both these teams, the defense, both these teams, I think the Chargers defense stands out and could be the difference here. Moving on to the next game, Bucs and the Saints. I got 31-27, so a pretty high-scoring game, and it's right there in the ballpark of the line there, so that's a little scary. But yeah, I got the Saints taking care of business. A lot of new faces for the Bucs. I'm not really too worried about that long term because the system kind of goes with Brady. It's a team that will heat up as the season goes on. It'll be very good. It'll be good early in the year because it's a really good team, but it'll really get good as the season goes on. So that's something to look out for. The Saints, it's a must-win. I've been talking about it all week. This is an absolute must-win. Must-wins all over the NFL, but this is the definition, the perfect example of a must-win in Week 1. Week 1 is random. Can't really have too many takeaways, but it's still a must-win because the Saints, they're at home against the division rival, their biggest rival in the NFC this year, just based on talent, in my opinion. And the Buccaneers, again, are going to heat up. So the Saints got to take care of business at home Week 1 while they can, and I think they will. I think I like the Bucs defense. I am probably higher on the Bucs defense than everyone else this year. I think it's very complete. Their front seven is nasty. But they'll have, I actually think, even though I think they'll be great this year, and they could struggle in this game a little bit. And the Saints are going to go quick, on them early, and they're going to throw everything they can at them, and I think they'll be able to air it out. The young secondary, I believe in this young secondary of Tampa Bay, but I think the Saints will take care of business in this one. Use the collection of talent that they have. Drew Brees has a pretty good game in this one. The Buccaneers will keep up, though. They're a really good team. And I'm just really curious about that. I'm curious about the Tom Brady offense versus Saints defense. Saints defense usually looks dominant at this point of the season. So I'm really excited about this. I got the Saints taking care of business here, though. Like both these teams down the stretch very much. I like the Bucs to really improve down the stretch. So can't wait for every game, but this is definitely a big one. The Cardinals and the Niners, I might surprise some people here. I went with, I'm well aware this is somewhat of a bold and upset here. I'm going to take the Cardinals. And I can't believe they're +7. That's a lot. I got them scoring 30 points. Love the Niners defense. It was great last year. It's going to be great this year. I still got the Cardinals scoring 30 points. I got the Niners putting up 28. Even though the Niners beat the Cardinals twice last year, mainly the first one it felt like go either way. But both games, it felt like the Cardinals gave the Niners a challenge. They gave them a challenge. I've talked about it before. Not too many teams gave the Niners that much challenge besides maybe the Seahawks and the Chiefs there. The Niners made those NFC North teams in the playoffs look like nothing. The Cardinals and the Falcons in the regular season, it was kind of random, though. The Cardinals gave them some kind of issues there. They were able to get Kenyon Drake outside really quick, whether it's passing game, run game, and they kind of struggle a little bit, that defense on him a little bit. And now they spread things out by adding DeAndre Hopkins, Kyler Murray stepping up in the next year. They have other receivers stepping up, young guys that can continue to improve like Andy Isabella. But the defense also much improved. They got some help for Chandler Jones out there, whether it's Kennard, whether it's Isaiah Simmons, one of my top tier prospects of the draft. I think overall you got an improving defense. So that'll be able to, they can make I don't expect the defense to play crazy good in this game, but they can make that extra play. Niners offensive line, it's interesting. That's kind of what I'm looking to see the most here, how they will be this year, because they played pretty darn well last year. They were dominant in the run blocking game. Pass blocking, they weren't as good, but they were still very good. They add Trent Williams, so you're automatically thinking, by the way, I think that was a great pickup. He's great. It's got to knock a little rust off, so we'll see. But you automatically think they add Trent Williams, they're a lot better. I actually worry about the interior a little bit, this offensive line this year. Not a major concern, but I do worry about it a little bit. Some guys beat up here and there. Deebo Samuel way ahead of schedule. Looks like he's going to play, so that's fantastic, but see if he's limited. So those things kind of stack up here. I think the Cardinals defense, they can make that extra sack, that extra impact play. Maybe it's a strip sack. I don't know. They can make that extra play, but mainly offense. I think Niners defense could, there could be some kind of game plan struggle here. So Cardinals aren't a team you want to play early, in my opinion. That's just me based off thinking I'm a defensive guy here. How will I game plan for this team early? Don't really know what they're going to throw at us. They're going to be fast, and speed could beat the Niners. Seen that in the Super Bowl. Can't base too much off one game, though. I got the Cardinals in the upset. Really feeling them here this year, but yeah, mainly early. Excited to see. Another game I'm really excited to see. Shootout here on Sunday night. The Cowboys and the Rams. 37-31. Cowboys -3 for the Cowboys here. Another one. It's going to be a great one. Great shootout here. La'el Collins is going to be out for at least 3 weeks. That is a tough blow for the Cowboys. That could actually be the difference. And I was thinking that, what's the edge rush situation for the Rams, though? I'm not really thrilled with that edge rush situation. I'm a big Terrell Lewis guy in the draft. Can't expect too much right away. Would love to see a lot from him, though, and he can do it. Very talented if healthy. So I don't know if that affects them that much in this game. The key will be blocking Aaron Donald. Zach Martin versus Aaron Donald. Can't wait to see it. Dak Prescott got something to prove. He needs to prove that he needs that maybe Jared Goff type contract. So he's going to go ball out. They got a three-man receiver unit that's going to be fantastic, adding CeeDee Lamb to the mix. The Cowboys, it's a team you're going to fear both the run and the pass. You look at the teams, some teams you don't fear anything, so you game plan any way you want. Some teams, you got to be in the box, you're fearing the run, but then that'll kind of open up the pass. You're fearing both from the Cowboys. Rams, I like Aaron Donald. I like that secondary. Could that be enough to throw Dak off here? For the Rams, I think the offense gets going early. I worry about the offensive line. That could actually slow down this offense. For some reason, offensive lines don't really cost teams early. I don't know what that is, but I mean they can be a factor in why they lose or they win, but you rarely see offensive lines completely blowing it early, so I'm not too worried right away, but I will be down the stretch of the season for the Rams offensive line. But they have the weapons. They'll score. They'll target the secondary of the Cowboys. The Cowboys will have to get their pressure. They're going to rely on their front seven. So this will be a pretty good game. The Cowboys beat them up late in the year last year. I don't really think Offensively, it could be similar, but I don't really think a similar game in terms of that beat up there. But yeah, really excited about this game. It should definitely be a shootout here. Dak versus Jared Goff, but mainly a Zach Martin versus Aaron Donald. Maybe Amari Cooper versus Jalen Ramsey. Really excited for some of these matchups in this game. So I got the Cowboys by 6. Monday night games, 2 of them. Can't wait. Closer than you think here. When I made the score, I'm like, all right, people are going to be a little surprised about this because I think people think the Steelers are going to blow them out. I'm kind of feeling close. And then I see the line. They're kind of in the same ballpark as me here. So, yeah, I think in that range, I do like the Steelers. I'm confident with the Steelers. Could be a trap game, though. Something I look at here is Steelers defense going to be great still. They'll still be able to do pretty much everything. But they did lose Javon Hargrave, who was a really good run-stopping nose tackle. And now you got Saquon Barkley and a much improved offensive line for in terms of run blocking for the Giants here. So could that be the difference? That is what I'm looking forward to seeing the matchup. Saquon Barkley versus the no Javon Hargrave Steelers, but they have a healthy Stephon Tuitt. When he's healthy, he's really good. They have Cam Hayward, obviously, and they have a pretty good linebacker unit as well, so they'll be able to handle some business. You even catch Edmonds kind of come up in the box, and he's pretty good run support. But they'll make their plays there. A key could be getting Saquon Barkley the ball, outside the numbers, passing game. So that could be the key. For the Giants, I actually expect that a little early. Getting the offense going a little early. I think the adjustments will be made. So I think we can see the Giants, getting the points, most of these points up early, than the Steelers kind of making the adjustments. The Steelers looking forward to see Big Ben. How is he? He's missed a whole bunch of time. He had an interesting surgery. Will he be the same? Will he have to knock some rust off? So there's some question marks there. And maybe a little bit of that, kind of getting better and the Giants, basically what I'm getting to, Giants can start off offensively, pretty well offensively early in the game. Steelers offensively a little later there for them. I like the collection of weapons the Steelers have. A ton of receivers combined with tight ends. James Conner's healthy right now, so they'll get going here. I just think it's just a little closer than people expect here. I'm not thrilled with the Giants' defense. I love the actual 3-man defensive line. But they're going to need to get some pressure in this game. Who will step up? Lorenzo Carter, who's going to step up in this game? Marcus Golden, who's going to step up? That could be a key. But again, yeah, for some reason, just a feeling. Never know what's going to happen in week 1. Giants offense could get going early. Steelers a little later. Steelers the better team. And a better team doesn't always win. I got them taking care of business here. But a pretty tight one. And then the last one of week 1, a really late Monday night game that I'm really excited for. I think it'll be a pretty close game. It's in Mile High. Will Tennessee have to make the adjustments there? Will that affect them? It's a pretty good home field advantage for the Broncos, but I still got them taking care of business. They're minus 2.5. It was a pick until the unfortunate news about Von Miller getting hurt out for the season. It's tough. I really thought this Broncos defense was going to be elite this year. I really thought this team was going to be pretty good this year. Surprise team, better than expected. That's a tough blow. There'll still be a very good defense. They got Jarrell Casey going against his old team here. That'll be exciting. I really like the actual defensive line. They got a pretty good rotation there. They don't have the rotation on the edge, at the edge spot. Bradley Chubb also still limited. It's just all tough. You got Bradley Chubb limited, Von Miller out, Atachu's going to have to step up, Bree's going to have to step up. Not the best depth out there. DeMarcus Walker is the guy that actually could see almost transition to more of an edge. I don't know if they do it. He has put some size on since he's came in, but it's a guy that got pressure. I liked it from a pressure standpoint as a prospect. So we'll see. They got a number of guys in the actual defensive line. I still like this defense. And they stopped Derrick Henry pretty well last time they faced him. So I don't think Derrick Henry goes wild, but I also don't think it's going to be the same as last time. I think it's kind of in the middle there. I think he has a pretty solid game. They're gonna run, open up that play action pass. I don't expect too much offense for the Titans because I still like this Broncos defense. But they'll probably have to target those corners, maybe a little weaker spot of the Broncos defense, but I do like AJ Bouye. I just think pretty close still. I think pretty close game. Drew Lock's going to have to step it up in this one. I've heard they've had to simplify the playbook a little bit during training camp. I don't like the sound of that, but hopefully he can get going. He has the playmakers. But the Titans a very good defense. Adding Jadeveon Clowney adds to their pass rush game, but they'll stop the run at a pretty high level. And they have a pretty good secondary, pretty balanced secondary with the playmaker of Kevin Byard back there as well. So I think a tight game. Being in Denver kind of helps it still stay tight. The Titans may... their game plan is going to be run the ball. Maybe the Broncos slow that down a little bit, so it sets them back just a little bit, perhaps. But interesting to think, since the Broncos don't have a bunch of depth, and since Clowney was kind of a one-year deal type of guy, if Von Miller would have got hurt before the Clowney signing, I think they would have been in the market for Jadeveon Clowney to pair with Bradley Chubb. Keep in mind, Chubb was kind of limited to start the year as well. I think they would have, because they have confidence this year. It's a one-year deal. They probably would have, that's kind of would make or break their team, a dominant defense perhaps. So I think they would have done it, but the injury happens after, unfortunately. Unfortunately at all, it happens. It's ridiculous that it's just Bradley Chubb last year, Von Miller this year, it just sucks. And they got to play against Clowney too. So it's absolutely, it's terrible. But I still think a really good game. And the Broncos definitely can compete still. But I got the Titans taking care of business by 3 in this game. So that is my score predictions for week 1. We will do this every single week. Don't worry. We have the straight up picks with the other members of the GOAT House. That one is always fun. That's already on the channel. Will be every single week. Power rankings will come every single week. Plenty more videos as well. We'll have recaps on Monday, kind of recapping all the Sunday's action there. We do that every single week. There's a lot to talk about Sunday alone. Those other guys mentioned, those other guys have their score predictions going up at some point on the Patreon every single week. So you can check that out. Link in the description in the comments for anything you may need. I would recommend following that Twitter. Please smash that like button if you enjoyed. Turn notifications on so you don't miss a thing. That's going to do it for this one, though. Thanks, everyone, for watching. Goodbye.